far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there is nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of this nightmare, but when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among other. I've got to try it. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to fight. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm There's no way to go, no one that can see through at the side of the light. I can see my life is crap, I have to see them too. I just leave into my
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi, race fans. Welcome live tonight here at Las Vegas. We always say, well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas here. And we got the Sim500 Truck Series here, playoff round tonight. This is the final round of round 2. A very important round here for a lot of these guys. We're getting set to go green flags. Base truck pulls off. And like you just said, most notably, E.J. O'Rourke and Greg Wood did not make the field, or they didn't grid up at least. E.J.'s still in the pit, so we're not sure what happened on his end. But green flag flies are racing here, Jeff.
Flags in the air. Yeah, there's been a few theories thrown around. I believe Justin Fuller believes that EJ is grabbing a snack. Maybe he's grabbing some kick-ass beef jerky. Who knows? You can grab some of your own. You're going to hit the plugs early here, Joe. Use code SIM500. That's the code, right? Is it SIM500?
SIM500.
No, yeah,
yep.
SIM500 for 19% off over at kickassbeefjerky.com. That's right.
There you go. I mean, you get 19% off there. Like I said, get some good beef jerky as always. Good race up front there, Tommy Ryan, Nick Silver. And I tell you what, Tommy Ryan has been probably the hottest non-playoff driver so far in this chase here in the Truck Series. And I tell you what, I know he's probably kicking himself in the back of his mind, missing the chase by just all mere inches, just a little bit there. Came down to the last race, but boy, he's been itching up there in the mix the whole entire time, so he probably would have been a threat. You got Tyler Dalton up there too.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been running near the front these past few weeks and had himself a really good run. It took him a while to sort of make the change over from the ARCA cars from last season, because every season they changed to a new car here. Last season they ran the ARCA series, and he was strong there, but in the trucks, he just could not seem to get a grip on it. But now he's sort of hit his stride, and he's battling for the lead. That's Tyler Dalton down to his inside. He's sort of stuck up on the outside here. Not where you want to be, as now Nick Silver will get around as well.
Absolutely, and right now, still a good side-by-side battle between the two up there, as Tyler Dalton's going to take the top spot. Nick Silver's there along with him. Tommy Ryan's going to fall back in third. And like you said, this place could spread out a little bit as time goes on.
Absolutely. It'll be a single file line here shortly, but looking back further through the field, you got a good battle going on, and guess who's on the inside? Justin Fuller down low, looking for a run on Brian Macklin, not going to be able to get it, but now Fuller on the outside has Randy Yoakum and Kevin Brown, and Kevin Brown and Justin Fuller were probably not exchanging texts throughout the week, and if they were, then we cannot read them here on air. They were not too happy with each other at the end of last week's race, but we'll see if that's sort of going to boil over here tonight, or if these drivers have worked it out. Now it's a good battle going on between these this pack back here, right around the 10th position. Up on the outside, Sean Casto making it work. The 23 of Josh Parker as well. And then on the inside, you got Justin Fuller, Kevin Brown, and the 4-car Bob Gillenwater trying to hold off Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, it is 2x2 racing back there. Like I said, Josh Parker, Justin Fuller. Yeah, we saw that battle between Kevin Brown and him there. They're 3 wide almost. You can do that for a little bit here. Just had to hang on to it, though, there for the moment. Brian Macklin, Jeff Strewsbury back there along with them. They are still door to door along with these guys back there. And the top guys, though, they're running single file.
Running single file right back around the 8th position now is where it starts to get double file, and people are getting a little crazy. Josh Parker to the inside, and that's a Brian Macklin there. Jeff Shrewsbury throwing his hat in the mix. He's got a good run going up on the outside. Now they get single file coming off the corner. Justin Fuller, though, still on the inside of Randy Yoakum, battling hard. Now, when you're battling hard like this, you're Justin Fuller, and you're down on the inside, and you're pushing it hard like Justin Fuller always does, you're burning up that right front tire. No matter what you do, you are putting a lot of force on the right front tire, and you're running very close with the apron, which is very easy to catch and get sent around here. So keep an eye on Justin Fuller, because he might lose some speed on the long run here, as now he's clear if he can't take care of that right front tire.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right. I mean, that's what the thing is, though. He finally got around the truck there, and he's got up topped on the 22 machine, and that would actually be there of Jeff Strewsbury. But down low behind him, you've got Randy Yoakum and company there. It's still a tight battle with 2x2. I think after a while, like what you said, these guys will get strung out, maybe single file. Don't want to waste those tires, because from my knowledge, they still only got 3 sets here, so you got to be patient with them.
Resets may sound like it's not a lot, but I think for this track here especially, they're going to be okay with 3 sets of tires because that's about 25 laps or so per set. Now, that sounds like a lot, but really only 25 laps here in Las Vegas. You can make the tires work. You can make the tires last at this track. So if you have 3 sets of tires and you pit every 25 laps,
Sorry about that. Still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. I jumped out of the room for a second. You were saying about the tires there, by the way.
Just that you can make the tires work on the long run here. You can last a long time on tires here. So if a caution comes out roughly every 25 laps, you'll be in good shape. You'll be able to make it work. So we'll see. You can actually really get a run going here about 40, 50 laps even on your tires. That'll save you an extra set later on. So if I'm out here right now, I'm fine with taking it easy. I'm probably going to work my way up to the top 10. Once I'm there, I'm in the front pack. That's when I can start taking it a little easier and just ride for a while. Take care of the tires in case I have to make a long run.
And, you know, we saw last week and a week prior there is Daniel Falkenham, who has made it already to the round of 6. In this chase, Trey Edson, Justin Fuller, Brian Macklin, Ryan, I'll get it right here in a minute, Ronald Howard, and Nick Silver are all right there in it. And you've got Coleman and Dalton still on the outside looking in. Not sure if they upgraded this, but I'll tell you what, let me click on over here onto the Dan Lisa part of it, see what we've got so far. Yeah, after Texas. Yep, Texas. So right now, you've got EJ, Brian Macklin. Okay, so here's your more updated list here. Because I remember Brian Macklin, he had that trouble last week, and we thought he might have fallen out. Well, he is tied for 7th right now in the points with Tyler Dalton. Remember the cutoff, it's only 6 drivers. Daniel Falkenham's already advanced, so that's only going to leave 5 more spots. But really, you got Chad Coleman, who moved up right there in the 6th. Tyler Dalton, like I say, tied with Ryan Macklin for 7th. And you got Ryan Howard, who is sitting in 5th. It's a tight battle amongst all those guys. So tonight is going to be a really, really tough one. Bonus points are going to mean everything in the world here, too.
Absolutely. Tommy Ryan nearly made the playoffs based off of just a handful of points, and I bet he had 1 or 2 extra stored away for later on earlier. So you know, a lot of these drivers out here know the importance of just 1 point, just 1 position out on track can make a big differences. Now, taking a look up towards the front, it's really a 5-car little group here. They're coming up on lap traffic. But Josh Parker technically leads the way. He's got Nick Silver right on his outside. Then Brian Macklin behind Nick Silver. Down on the inside, guess who? Chad Coleman with a really strong run here like we haven't seen in a couple weeks. It's been cold the past few weeks. Now he's starting to heat back up. Then Tommy Ryan. And lurking in the background, just sort of cruising and waiting, is Justin Fuller. I think he's going to let these guys battle for a while. He's just going to sit and ride. He's not going to be able to pass all 5 of them. But give it a couple minutes here. Let them get single file, and he can pick them off 1 by 1.
You know, they talked about last week, a lot of guys were not very happy with this track. You see EJ, unfortunately, he's bowing out of the way there to let these drivers go. A lot of these guys said it's going to be like a plate track race where the draft will play a huge factor. You see Nick Silver take the lead, Brian Macklin there, Josh Parker, like you said, Chad Coleman, Justin Fuller. I just mentioned a lot of those guys right there on the cutoff line. You know, remember Daniel Falkenham running in 7th. He's already advanced. So a lot of these guys up front here, especially Brian Macklin, Chad Coleman, you know, right there, they got a lot. And even Tyler Dalton sitting in 9th and Ryan Howard there in 10th. So top 10, we got a lot of chase drivers here. It's going to be a close one coming out here. Who's going to make it to the round of 6? Tommy Ryan, he says, you know what, you guys might be battling for a championship. I'm still going to get up here and try to battle for a win.
Oh, absolutely. Tommy Ryan hates losing more than he likes winning. I think that's fair to say. And now he looks in the middle of 3 wide, thinks better of it. Same thing with Josh Parker. He's also up there looking for a win. Ryan Howard is the furthest back of the chase drivers, sitting all the way back there in 10th. Wow, a whopping 10th place is the furthest back. Now, EJ O'Rourke is now sitting in the lucky dog position as well. He's the only car a lap down after missing the start. Keep an eye on him. He's always a contender. And I want to say he was running up towards the front the last time we were here at Las Vegas before he got involved in a wreck, if that's correct.
And you know what? The feeling of the race right now, which I don't want to say because some of these guys are very, very good drivers, got a lot of talent on this track here, but when you're running this close side by side for so long, and we'll know that too because going, if I'm not mistaken, next week we go Talladega racing, which is going to be plate style. It'll be a wild card style race there, but you already see up there, they already get contact. That's what I'm talking about. When you're running side by side like that, real dicey, especially with guys like Brian Macklin who know they need a very, very good finish here, if not a win, to make it to that round of 6 because last week they had a very bad race and Macklin was well in it. He was like sitting 4th or 5th, and now he's, on the outside looking in, so he definitely needs to bounce back.
Absolutely, and that's the worst position to be in a must-win situation going to a place like Talladega. There's nothing worse. There really isn't because it's all up in the air. You cannot possibly predict what's going to happen at the end of Talladega. As Brian Macklin gets a little loose there, he's going to have the back end kick around that gives Tommy Ryan a run on the outside. Ryan not clear though. Justin Fuller giving him a push up on the outside. Now Ryan's clear. He'll slip into line, mark him 3rd. Brian Macklin slips to 4th with Justin Fuller on that back bumper, touches it, and gives him a little bit of a love tap. I think we might see a Justin Fuller crossover here. No, thinks better of it. This is a very harsh battle going on as Tommy Ryan now fighting for 2nd, gets loose. That gives the run to the outside line. There goes Justin Fuller. Now he's up to 3rd.
Yeah, right now just a lot of side-by-side battling going on up front there. Josh Parker still holding the top side. Well, Justin Fuller says, I've waited long enough. Here I come. I got to go to the front. I'd love to win it. Just I wasn't able to get it done last week there, and it was a close one.
Yeah, Justin Fuller's not making many friends up here because he very, very, very close. He was very close when he cut down in front of Tommy Ryan. That was a very close call right there. That's why you probably heard me on the broadcast go, "Oh no," because he was very close and very nearly spun himself off of Tommy Ryan's front bumper. But now he's battling for 2nd. So started all the way in 4th place, dropped back a little bit. Now he's back up here running for 2nd place. But Josh Parker really cannot fall asleep on him. Started 18th, currently leads the way.
Yes, it does. So right now, Josh Parker, like we always said, fast guy up front. He's leading it. Here comes Justin Fuller down the inside, though. He's got Nick Silver up top. And it looks like a freight train or truck's right there behind him. Chad Coleman, Tyler Dalton and company. So we'll have to see. And Justin Fuller hang on down there on the low line. We've not seen too many people be able to, but he might be able to skim up there and get it. He's trying to get a little side draft right there on him. Not going to work right now, though.
Not quite the move yet. Not quite yet. How about Daniel Falkingham? Someone we haven't mentioned yet. He's got a little bit of right rear damage I'm looking at here. I wonder when and where that happened. Doesn't seem to be hurting him too bad. He's driven up from 23rd all the way to 5th now.
Yeah. Absolutely. So not too
He's
bad.
Locked into that ground. He's locked into that ground.
Who's that? Daniel Falkingham. Yeah. He won that one. He's the only one that actually has won. Trey Edson won last week, so wouldn't that lock Trey Edson in also? Yep. So Trey Edson and Daniel Falkingham are the two. Like I said, I don't have an updated chart to see who's actually locked on. I went back and saw who won last week. So Trey Edson locking himself, Daniel Falkingham locking himself. They're really taking those 4 spots left. So if I'm wrong here on my math there, Jeff, because I'm a mathematician here, with Brian Macklin sitting tied for 7th. Because you've got to take 2 of them away. It's only going to be 4 guys, so do they have to jump 2 positions in the standings in order to make that, or what?
I think their best bet, really their only shot, is to win.
Okay,
And
all right.
You got to make that happen. I took a look back with Daniel Falkingham's damage. He actually, so there was a wreck almost earlier on involving Kevin Brown. The 44 of Glenn Campbell in the middle of the turn, got into the back of Kevin Brown, just had a run and touched the back end. That sent Kevin Brown down into Daniel Falkingham. It's amazing they were able to keep it going straight. So the right rear of Daniel Falkingham is damaged. Kevin Brown has some damage as well. Justin Fuller's now falling back a little bit. Might have burnt his stuff off. That honestly could be what happened.
You know, and the one thing I just noticed right there, Daniel Falkingham, it doesn't look like it's hurting the speed too much, but the handling it might be. And you saw right there, he tucked up behind Justin Fuller, and when he did, and when it come off the turn, it looked like the rear end kind of wiggled a little bit as you saw Brian Macklin pull up on the back end, maybe take a little air off that spoiler. But that's the only time he's probably going to, feel the effects of that, as the front end looks pretty good. So right now, not really slowing him down pace-wise, but might be making that truck a little bit ill handling right now.
Absolutely, and the damage isn't too bad. It's certainly not race-ending. It's just going to make his night a little bit more difficult, though. I don't think there's anyone out there that says they would rather have damage and rather not have it. But look at the run he's getting on the outside. He's got a push here from the 30 of Brian Macklin. Oh, and wrecking
contact.
up front! They keep it going!
And those are two chase drivers, too. It's Justin
Rewind.
Fuller.
It's not over. Justin Fuller into the 48 again.
Oh, see, I'm going to tell you what, and you know what? This is all down to, you got nothing to lose, but I'm going to tell you, Nick Silver cannot afford for this to happen to him. He needs to keep that momentum up, but now he's got some left side damage, right side damage heavy on the side of that truck, hitting a wall. Justin Fuller, again, I don't know if he got any damage out of that. We'll have to get, maybe if we can get a close-up there of him. Looks like the right side got a little bit to it. Not too bad, though, but yeah, it's a little contact.
Wow.
And we talked about that earlier there, Jeff, how close these guys are running. With this draft the way it is, it's going to tend to a little bit of contact.
Yeah, the cause of that wreck coming in, Justin Fuller had a big run, a big head full of steam. And when he jumped to the outside of the 48 of Nick Silver, he just ever so slightly touched the right rear of Nick Silver. And that got the 48 out of shape. When he got out of shape, that put him up into Justin Fuller, put them both in the wall. And then Nick's trying to keep this thing going. And Justin Fuller goes up and gives him a little bit of door. And that is a lot of damage to that 48. That thing is dropping like a rock. He's way off the pace. His top speed is about 160 miles an hour in the turns. That's not even nearly enough to be competitive. He's about a second and a half off the pace now.
And I got a feeling that maybe some of that front nose damage might hurt Justin Fuller in the long run here. The good news is on his part, he comes in here third into points behind Trietz and Daniel Falkingham there, who haven't advanced. So he's the first truck that has not advanced into the next round. That is a good thing. Nick Silver came fourth, right behind Justin Fuller. So that was two main drivers right there, coming in. You got Ryan Howard, Chad Coleman, Tyler Dalton, Brian Macklin. So we'll have to see as this race plays on. One that's going to really hurt, man, there, Nick Silver. He's going to have to keep trucking out here. But, Justin Fuller would almost have to kind of fall out the race, I think, in order to miss the chase. He's, I don't want to say he's safe still, because we've got enough trucks out here that could put him in a hurt, especially if Brian Macklin finishes well here. And bonus points come in. We got to do. So we're not figuring any bonus points. We're not figuring any of that stuff in too, folks. It's kind of what we're just doing position wise and what it is. And again, Justin Fuller coming in pretty good. So when we look at Nick Silver here, there, Jeff, he's back in 19th. I mean, obviously he's going to come in when he can to get some damage. This track though tends to be long green flag run style track if they can get them spread out. Problem is right now it's so draft dependent, and I just don't think they're getting spread out like they want to. Brian Macklin right there, he's going to close in on Daniel Falkingham. He's content to run in third right now, so good one. And you got Chad Coleman. The two trucks right there kind of outside looking in. And, you got Justin Fuller right behind him, and Tyler Dalton right there too. another one. So you've got 3 trucks. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say out of those 3 trucks, one of those trucks are going to make it to the round of 6, and 2 of them aren't. Because, go back on my chart here a second. Right now, Tyler Dalton and Brian Macklin are tied, and Chad Coleman sits, well, he sits 1, 2, 4. It would be, he's 6th in the point standing, but again, you got to take Trey and Daniel out of that. So 4 drivers there. Or what advance would be right now. If it ended right now and the points were like they were coming in, would have been Justin Fuller, Nick Silver, Ryan Howard, Chad Coleman. I mean, your top 6, Tyler Dalton, Brian Macklin, outside looking in. Now there's only an 11-point difference between them and Chad Coleman, and about total to Justin Fuller, from looking at it here right. And folks, you know, my math's not the number 1 biggest thing in the world. Give or take, Tyler Dalton, Brian Macklin, I'm going to say is a good solid 20-some points back. Justin or so. It's going to be wild to see who makes it. But I got a feeling here, Jeff, man, you're looking at Brian Macklin, Coleman, Tyler Dalton. One of those guys are going, and unless Nick Silver just falls out of this race totally. But if Nick, I think, can maintain a top 15 or so, I think he might be safe enough where he's at.
I don't think Nick Silver is going to be able to maintain a top 15. He's all the way back in 19th, and that truck is just way off the pace. The leaders are running 32.7s. You take a look back to Nick Silver.
33.38.
19th. Yeah, 33.38. So half a second per lap off the pace, and that's behind Kevin Brown. That truck is very heavily damaged. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and like I said, I know he's going to go in and try to get a little bit of probably optional done on it and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting, right? Like you said, right now he's sitting in 20th. Ryan Howard and them are in 10th, so that's 10th places, 10 positions. Chad Cole would be that's 15 spots right there. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, let me look back on my chart here again. A lot of math, folks, a lot of math. And again, this is all unofficial, what we're saying, you know, because bonus points and all that stuff add into, so we're just kind of going off what I'm looking here. Ryan Howard only came in 6 points behind Nick Silver. As of right now, he's going to leapfrog him. Chad Cole only came in 8 points, so he'll leapfrog him. Again, Tyler Dalton and them looks like 11... About, I must say, I want to go out on a limb and say about 20. I'm going to say about 16 to 18 is what Tyler Dalton's sitting back. So as of right now, yeah, Nick Silver is in trouble. He's going to have to be in that top 20, I feel, in order to stay.
Not going to be easy for him. I think at the end of the night, Nick Silver is praying for a miracle.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Honestly,
yeah,
we'll
anything can happen. I mean, it's not over with. Obviously, you know, you've got you know, Tyler Dalton's having an outstanding run. He's in a battle right there with Jeff Strewsbury and company. As you see, Tommy Ryan's falling off a little bit. You got Trey Etzen there, Chad Coleman, Brian Macklin having outstanding runs, which is what they need. Because remember, you know, Brian Macklin last week, disaster. You just saw right there. He came in like 3rd or so in the points in this chase, and then just fell all the way, or I think it was about maybe 4th or 5th, and just fell all the way out now as he's tied there with Tyler Dalton. So anything can happen here. Obviously, one of those guys could win too. You know, hey, don't count it out here. Right now, Josh Parker's man up front, though.
That he is from 18th to 1st. Daniel Falkingham's fallen back a little bit. He was running up there right on the back bumper, but now Brian Macklin takes that spot in 2nd place. We're on lap 45. We're about halfway through this race, and I think we're going to start seeing green flag pit stops here sooner rather than later. These guys want to get to lap 50, maybe 53 to cover themselves for a green-white checkered, I would say. Should one happen later on, but Yeah, if I'm these drivers out front, I'm staying out as long as I can. But now the 86 starts off the pit cycle. He's coming in from 26th place.
And just to go off of what we did way back in April when we was here at Las Vegas last time, Chad Cole won it. Brian Macklin finished 10th in that race, so, you know, he had a pretty good run. But remember, that was just a wild finish, wild style of race there. And I see that, you know, Justin Fuller finished 39th that day, so obviously not a good day. And Nick Silver didn't have a good day that day, so who knows how this thing's going to turn out here today. All we know is 4 drivers are going to go, and it looks like we got pit stops. That's another thing here. This will be green flag pit stops. We talked about how bunched up the field could be on this track because it's like a draft style. It plays a huge factor. But green flag pit stops definitely will split this place up. And Brian Macklin staying right there on Josh Parker for the moment.
John Casto pitted from towards the front. Now he's down on pit road, going to get 4 tires filled up with fuel. So if a green-white checker comes out, these guys might be in a little bit of trouble. Brian Macklin looking for the lead, goes way low now at the start-finish line. They're going to be side by side for the lead. Coming on to lap 49, and Brian Macklin has it, but Josh Parker might be able to form a run here.
You know, and I think right here is the time that Macklin needs. He needs those bonus points. Again, we're at lap 49, and I'm going to tell you what, halfway bonus points, they do have those here. All right, they have a stage. And I'm not sure if it's lap 50. Did you see Josh Parker just coming off on pit road right there? But if it's lap 50, then he's going to get the max points. You know, and that's something I need to look at. And unfortunately, though, they used to have all the information on the Facebook for me. They don't have it over here on this Discord. So I'm going to go up with Nick on them or if maybe Cohan or somebody out there is listening. I know it's not like a traditional style stage like we would normally have. As you see now, Brian and them coming down on pit road. But I do know that they have a stage. They have bonus points of some sort that they give out. So you saw right there. Either way, Brian Macklin, you know, be leading, trying to get as many points as he can.
Sounds like a good strategy to me. Chad Coleman now pitting from the lead. Trey Edson right behind. Scott Stenzel, Ryan Howard, Tommy Ryan all up towards the front as well. Then Brian Macklin way further back, followed by Justin Fuller, Tyler Dalton. The top 5 are all coming down pit road. And looks like everyone gets it without incident. Scott Stenzel still out there. Now we're on lap 52 here, so these drivers should be good to the end here, maybe even for a green-white checkered.
All right. Now, yes, you get 1 bonus point for leading, and you also get 2 bonus points for the most laps. So obviously, you know, Brian Macklin there. And again, I'm not going to even get into the bonus point calculations type things, you know, because that's just getting a lot of math and I'm not going to get into. But as of right now, you know, position, obviously it's a NASCAR setup. But we know right there, yeah, leading that lap helps. On the playoff format, you know, obviously it starts off with 10. Every race winner from the regular season gave a bonus point for each of their regular season wins. So obviously if you won one race, you got 1 bonus point, so forth, so on, as many races won. These bonus points will be applied at the beginning of the first round only. They only got them first round, so we're already past that. We're heading into round 3 here. There's, you know, 3 eliminations and so forth. We're going to round 6 next. The bottom 2 drivers of the playoffs will be eliminated each race down to 4. Obviously, going to try to punch their ticket into the round of 4 there. So, not sure where it says any of the stage stuff, but sure at one point that's what they talked about. Either way, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be close here, I think, with this round. And Brian Macklin's doing what he needs to do, bottom line. And that's either try to get up there and win this thing and get as many points as he can. What's up, John? How you doing? Sean Casto came in at lap 47 at 4 tires. Josh Parker came in at 49. Jeff Shrewsbury at 47. Everybody else came around lap 50, 51. You know, the one thing you know and I know, it kind of splits the field up. Not as much as I thought it would, though, because the gap between Sean and Josh is only 3.5 seconds. There's only about 2.5 seconds between the other field, the other drivers there of Daniel Falkenham, Brian Macklin and company. And if they stay single file, it shouldn't be long for them to run them down.
No, it shouldn't be too long at all. And I think pitting early there, a couple laps on fresher tires would help them make up that time. But now Sean Castle with 3.5 seconds over Josh Parker, Jeff Shrewsbury right there, and then another 2 seconds back to Daniel Falkenham. So it spread them out a little bit, but like you said, not as much as we were expecting, I think.
Keep an eye on here. Nick Silver still in the 21st position back there, marred back in traffic, unfortunately, and caught up there with Justin Fuller earlier on. Ryan Howard hanging on to 11th place. Tyler Dalton in 9th. Chad Coleman at 8th. Fuller there in 7th. Trey Edson hanging on to 6th. So he's already Trey Edson and Daniel Falkenham was in 4th and 6th. Obviously, right now they have already advanced. But Brian Macklin trying to bounce back from this terrible finish he had before there. But like a little bit of working going on here between Trey Edson and Daniel Falkenham there over Brian Macklin. That brings Jeff Shrewsbury along with him. Actually, who is that? That's the 30th. Excuse me. Is that the 30? That's Chad Coleman? I think he brought Chad Coleman with him. Yeah.
Chad Coleman is...
Yep, he's right there with him.
Where's Chad Coleman? Yeah,
Right
the
behind
38
him.
right there.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we got it. Brian Macklin, Chad Coleman, they're running together.
And
Daniel Falkenham looks to be a little off the pace. I'm wondering if that right rear damage isn't hurting him.
Yeah, and I don't know. You know, he went around the car there, Brian Macklin, and then Trey Edson was able just to go scooting on by him. You're right. It could be just a little bit of damage. At this point, I mean, obviously, how much do you push the truck on his end, along with Trey Edson? I know they want to win. Also, as far as Justin Fuller goes, right now Fuller knows he's kind of safe where he's at. I know he wants to win, but do you push that thing, maybe get yourself into trouble, because he still could get knocked out of here if he was to get knocked out of the race. I mean, we still got enough trucks running that he would fall back to like 29th, 30th spot.
Yeah, at this point, your bed's sort of made. You got to just lay in it here if you're still out there and still running. We've been green so far for 59 laps. Hopefully they can keep it green to the end here. That would be a true test for these drivers' skill.
And it's nothing uncommon here at Sim500 here for the Kickass Beef Jerky Truck Series. It has been a wonderful and a fantastic season so far. A long one, and I know these guys are looking forward to getting to the end of it, crowning a champion. We've only got about, well, after tonight would be actually 4 more races to go as the round of 6, obviously 3 races there, and then we go to Phoenix to cap off. 4 drivers will battle for the championship there as Sean Castro still out front on Jeff Shrewsbury, goes around Josh Parker for 2nd as Josh falls back to 3rd. But this Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series has been phenomenal. We've seen some great racing. We've seen some up and down things throughout the season, and that's just what NASCAR style of racing's been about.
Yeah, it really has. It's been a great season so far. And all over the place. A lot of different drivers have gone out and won. A lot of different drivers have done well, and a lot of drivers that we were expecting to do well haven't. I think we were all expecting E.J. O'Rourke to contend to go back-to-back for his championship title, but now he's running back there in 28th after missing the start. Jeff Ryan and his brother Tommy Ryan were running up near the front of the ARCA cars. Now Tommy seems to have figured it out. Jeff Ryan's still struggling a little bit further back. Joey Gattina ran well in the ARCA cars last season. Now he's struggling this season. And then Trey Edson has really come out of left field and done a great job. Chad Coleman, Brian Macklin, all doing really well throughout the entire season. Sean Castro, though, right now leading the way. Jeff Shrewsbury, Josh Parker, all having really great runs here tonight and throughout the year. It's very interesting stuff when these guys all of a sudden come out of left field and are doing very well.
Yeah, Jordy Katina there back in 15th. Mike Maltesi sitting in 14th. Gael Brooks the 16th right there hanging on. Scott Stencil, there a couple weeks there. He was having some good finishes. He's up to 13th. Tommy Ryan all of a sudden is falling off the pace. He's back into 12th. Ryan Howard's hanging on to 11th. The one thing about this track, though, very, very tough to pass on once everybody kind of gets settled in. Don't really see, because lap times are pretty well close. I mean, all the way through the field, you're within, what, a 31, 32 range. You're, what, half a second between the whole entire field here, all the way back to about 30th spot, 26th, 28th spot. And what that tells you is usually you don't see anybody just coming flying through the field. The only way I see that happening, Jeff, is if half the field takes 2 tires and the other half takes 4.
Absolutely. Lots of different strategies throughout the entire field. I'm still not sure which the best one is. It looks like for Sean Casso, short pitting was the best option, but I think he's going to be on fields once he gets to the line, now that I'm thinking about it. The furthest run we saw was about lap 53, and now Sean Casso has about 53 laps to go from when he first pitted. So if the race stays green, he could run out of fuel. He has to be careful.
Yeah, he pitted on lap 57, so that's, remember, they run 100% fuel here. And, we've been fooled many a times by the first pit stop, a cycle. And sometimes what these guys like to do is they'll pit 4 or 5 laps early, just to maybe throw off the competition, or just to make sure they don't run out. And then that last one, boom, guess what, they go. The biggest thing is tires. I think tires will wear out before anything here. Maybe. I say that. I know you mentioned it earlier about tires, but right now it seems like these guys are, they know how to manage them right now.
Absolutely. Tire wear is key. Tire wear dictates everything. And if you burn through those tires, man, you are going to be absolutely kicking yourself on the long run if you can't come down and get a fresh set. But now, such a long run. We're 2/3 of the way through the race already here. And, man, these drivers have really been hauling the mail. We're over 2/3 of the way through the race already. And these drivers have sort of figured out what they need to do to save tires and what they need to do when they need to push it, how hard they can push the trucks. So I think that's sort of at the back of their minds right now. They're approaching this race with the expectation of it running green until the end, and because you have to prepare for the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And for the tires, the worst case scenario is running until the end, not getting another chance to come down and pit.
Right now, Sean Casto, and we've seen this many times in Las Vegas Auto Club, are notorious for this. We talk about tires a lot, but also at being out front. Kansas was one of those tracks too. Just being out front is crucial. Clean air, dirty air, whatever you want to call it. Aero advantage out front, and we can see that they have not been able to really gain that much on Sean Casto. He's out there even with the newer tires that they've got. So, as much as we want to sit here and say, yeah, new tires are the greatest thing, they probably are for the first couple laps or so, but after that, they just be kind of an evened off deal. And if you've not made that move early, unfortunately, with Sean having, almost 4-second lead, I mean, his lap times are 32.43 to 32.45. I mean, you're talking about with thousandths of a second. If Sean is a lap or two short fuel-wise, obviously, green, white checkered's not in that, he could actually save some fuel now. And he, really, it's beneficial where he's sitting at right now, because he could really give up a second, on the track to save fuel, and heck, that might be what, a lap and a half of fuel save. He'd love to see Trey Etzen and him back there, battle. That'd be the biggest thing. I'd love to see those guys get side by side. Right now, they're content to stay single file, though.
Absolutely. That's exactly what Sean Casto does not want to see, though. Because when they're single file, that's when everyone gets a little bit quicker. But when they're back there battling like that, that's when he can start to pull away a little bit. And their lap times are pretty much even. Sean Casto is running 32.4s, and Josh Parker and Trey Edson, those guys were running 32.4s as well. They gained a little bit of time that last lap, but overall, they're maintaining that that distance of about 3.25 to 3 3/4 seconds.
And that's what I'm saying. And, you know, right now, you just see right there, Josh Parker had to move out of the way. Trey Edson side by side. This is what Sean wants to see. He wants to see them battle. You got Brian Macklin, Trey Edson right now side by side. You know, Josh Parker and them. Sean's sitting up back there going, yeah, this is what I want to see, because they're going to slow those guys down doing that. Or at least slow one of them down. And then if they get contact, too, that's another thing. Get back there and start rubbing on each other. Remember, Trey Edson doesn't have a lot to lose. He really don't have anything to lose. He's just going for the win. Brian Macklin, on the other hand, you can see him pushing Trey Edson to the second place spot. Brian Macklin has everything to lose here, not making that round of 6, so he wants all the positions he possibly can. Josh Parker not in the chase. So I know they're up there screaming, you know, or Brian Macklin probably is like, Josh, man, please just get out the way, you know. But, man, right there, Parker did not give him room at all.
No, and he's racing for the win, and he's going to be battling hard like crazy. And like you said, those guys aren't going to be happy with him, but it's not his job to make him happy. It's his job to go out and try and win a race.
And right there, he sent him up the track, got a little door, put up the track. He was able to hold on to it, didn't go in the wall, much like with Justin Fuller and Nick Silver earlier. That's exactly what Sean wants to see. Them guys getting back there, just kind of you know, pounding on each other. And I think Trey would probably be like, he's there. I don't know how much he's going to. He definitely would love to make it back-to-back wins. I mean, that's what it's about with him. Chad Coleman, Brian Macklin, they're racing to make the round of 6. You got Daniel Falkenham right there too.
Daniel Falkenham, remember, he started 23rd this race, and he's driven all the way up so far. And
did that last week too, remember?
He did that last week as well. But now Trey Edson, look at him. He's gaining time on Sean Casso. I think Sean might be in a little bit of trouble here if these guys stay single file.
Well, you know, remember I told you he had that time enough. He could give up a second. You look at that last lap time that was within 1,000ths. So maybe he backed off a little bit, saved some fuel, which is smart on his end. Obviously, if I look at my relative, almost 4 seconds in the lead, and I'm running within, you know, several thousandths of the guy behind me, why not back off? I could give up a second on the track, and that second there, you know, and I know, Jeff, could be fuel-wise, heck, that could be a lap and a half of fuel, you know, at the end of this race. So, because right now you just saw a 32.50 to 32.58 on Trey Edson's part, so picked it right back up again. So I think Sean's playing the right game right now. Maybe he's listening to us up here.
Well, if he is listening, then boy, he's getting some good advice. He's getting some good readouts of where everyone is. He's maintaining that distance now back to Trey Edson. And it's about 3 seconds. They've gained a little bit, but overall, they're really maintaining that distance. Now, keep in mind, Trey Edson has to gain over a 10th a lap to even get to the back bumper of Sean Casso by the end of the race. So every single lap from here on out, he has to be at least, a little over a 10th quicker per lap. And that's not easy to do.
And the reason I say trouble, Josh Parker's going to remember what old Trey did to him in that turn. Remember, he got up there, pushed up the track, and he pushed Trey up the track there. They went door to door. Parker did not give him much room at all up top. Those guys they pretty much could have just got out there and waved at each other. But that's going to open the door for Brian Macklin. Josh wants to win this race. And you know what? I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. I like seeing non-points chase players or anything like that race hard, like, you know, Sean and Josh is doing, to win these races and not giving it, especially if you've got a fast enough truck, and obviously Josh does and Sean does, to stay up there. Not saying, okay, you know, I know Brian's got everything in the world to lose, you know, I'm going to just lay over and let him go. Or Trey, you know, I know he's, you know, chase guy, I'm going to let him go. I want to win this race too, and I want to win. Get up there and go. And I know a lot of drivers out there probably going, Joe, Be quiet. We need these guys to get out of our way. So, hey, just say, I love racing.
Trey Edson does not need Josh Parker and Brian Macklin battling here. That is not what Trey Edson wants to see. Trey Edson wants these guys to say, hey, swallow your pride for 10 laps and let's get single file and go catch Sean Castro. We don't need to be battling here. But Brian Macklin and Josh Parker, they're going back and forth like a couple of rabid dogs, trying to, one up the other. Brian Macklin looking for a run low here into the corner, thinks about it, gets right to the back row, turns him, but Josh Parker, is he going to be able to keep it going is the question. Kind of, sort of, maybe, not around yet. Everyone's checking up, but there's no caution. Still going straight. I think it's going to say green.
Wow.
It's going to say green. Josh Parker kept it rolling.
Wow. And if I had a thing, it didn't show me where he went off track. Folks, that started up front. Trey Edson, Josh Parker there, and then Brian Macklin and him, and it just shows you the amount of momentum that you get here at this track. Brian Macklin pretty much just having to do what he needs to do. Now, the one guy who's loving it is Sean Castro, because he's going, fellas, because now he's able to save even more fuel. At that last lap, he gained quite a bit, but I think he's back here going, okay, y'all keep battling, I'm going to save some fuel. Now we're going to see what that front end nose damage. Brian Macklin's got a little bit of nose damage there, so see how much that affects him.
Yeah, that is not good, really, for anyone. But that nose damage especially is going to hurt Brian Macklin. But I don't think he's going to just give up the fight now. He's going to have to try and hold off Trey Edson. He's going to have Daniel Falkingham there as well. That's exactly what Sean Casson wants to see. He wants them battling. He wants those guys side by side for as long as possible here. 15 laps to go, and again, he's still got a good lead.
And I think right now Sean Castro is in a conservative mode. He has slowed down. I think he is saving fuel. I think he's short, and he's saving fuel. He has time to do that. He has the time to be able to do it. Well, we won't know until obviously Brian Macklin catches him or gets close to him, and then at that point he's going to have to go. But yeah, you see right now they're gaining so quick on him. I think Sean Castro is saving fuel and going to let them get up here to him and battle. I could be wrong, but
yeah, he gave up a lot of time. What's he doing?
I don't know. He's slowing down a lot.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really close on fuel, and he's had to start using the clutch.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the only, obviously Brian Macklin does not all of a sudden, as fast as I know he is, gain that amount on him. So, Sean, he's having to. I think he's going to be short. He's going to have to just give up this lead. He probably wants to battle, but he just knows. I think at this point he's just wanting to try to save and stay out here as long as he can. Brian Macklin, wow. Well, go ahead.
I took a quick look back at it, and yeah, we're exactly right. He's actually shutting off the engine and putting the clutch in. He's not going to make it on fuel, and he's in desperation mode.
Well, we'll just have to see. It's going to be interesting to see if Sean Castro comes in. Now Brian Macklin sits with two guys behind him who have already advanced to the round of 6. And Brian Macklin, if he wins this one, comes back from last week disaster, this week outside looking into the round of 6 to leading this one with 12 to go. Your heart's pounding. I mean, at this point, you just don't let off that pedal. You go wide open. Now, the good news is, you see Trey Edson and Daniel Falkingham. I think at this point they understand the situation, and they're not. Now you've got Macklin, Coleman, and Howard, and all three of those guys are guys that are in the chase outside. I mean, again, Edson and Falkingham, they got nothing to lose here. And they're going to see if those guys can run down Macklin.
It's going to be tough for him. It's certainly going to be tough for him. as now Chad Coleman is sitting in second place. I'm interested to see 10 laps to go here. Chad Coleman can make up that time, but let's see if he's able to do it.
Well, Coleman right now, obviously, I looked at his last lap. He ran both of them ran 32s. Him and Macklin, one ran he ran a 47 to a 66, so he's running faster. The biggest thing is how much is that damage going to affect Macklin, and then obviously, catching and passing, and then you got these lap cars up here too. That is not what Macklin wants to see. Is those two in front of him battling. He's going, hey fellas, y'all got to go, because this right here is going to do nothing but help Coleman hugely. And remember, a win for Coleman puts him in and almost could shut. Josh Parker has crashed. Still no caution. If he's off the field far enough, there'll be no caution. Love to see this thing go caution free, but I'll tell you what, though, if Coleman wins, that almost would put Macklin pretty much out of this thing, because Tyler Dalton sitting right there in 10th. I would, again, you got to remember the bonus points. You got to remember all that stuff. I'm not going to say it would put Macklin out if he doesn't win. It's going to be close, because remember, he came in tied for 7th with Tyler Dalton. But Ryan Howard and Chad Coleman running right there, second, third. Yeah, I'm trying to think on this a minute here. Let me look at the points a second. Okay. Nick Silver is pretty much all have just dropped out of this because he's way out. If Macklin doesn't win and Coleman wins, it's going to put 3 there. Justin Fuller is going to be the other one, obviously. Yeah, Ryan Macklin's going to have to win this race, because Ryan Howard is hugely ahead of them both. So if Ryan finishes 3rd, yeah, there's nothing. But pretty much Macklin at this point, it's win, you're in. I don't think he can do it, especially with Coleman or Howard right there behind him. And especially if Coleman wins it. That would be the worst thing. Now, if it was Trey Edson or somebody winning the race and Coleman behind him, might be a different subject. Again, all
speculation.
All speculation, yeah, unofficial. But by just what I'm seeing, now obviously you got to put in the bonus points. By what I'm seeing, the difference between Ryan Howard coming into this race, Ryan Howard was Chad Coleman was only 2 points back from Ryan Howard. But Tyler Dalton and Brian Macklin were 11 points back from Chad Coleman. Then you got to add that 2 points on to that. So really 13 points back. If one of those guys wins, it's only going to be a because you got Justin Fuller still there, so that's going to take a. So that's 4 drivers that's going to be in. It's only going to put 2 spots between who? Macklin, Howard, and Dalton. It's going to be close.
It's going to be very close. And Chad Coleman now, he wants this win as well. He wants to be locked in. He wants a little bit of insurance going forward. He's right on that back bumper. He made a run going into turn 1, but wasn't able to get it done. Brian Macklin was able to hold him off. But they've got 3 more laps. That's 3 laps for Chad Coleman to get up around Brian Macklin. It's just going to be interesting, and it's going to be no holds barred as these drivers try and duke it out here. They've got plenty of time back to Ryan Howard and even more back to Trey Edson. 2.5 seconds back to Trey Edson. So it's going to be one of the top 3, most likely Brian Macklin or Chad Coleman.
I like it here. Like I said, we're getting down to the end here. And I'm trying to think about, okay, does Coleman push the issue here and win this race? Or is he going to think, okay, I'm sitting right here. I'm already locked in. I'm trying to look. Obviously, if you take Nick Silver out, your top 3 guys, Edson, Daniel Falkenham, Justin Fuller, definitely going to make it because Fuller's running good enough where he's at. And he's far enough ahead in points. So that's going to leave. And Nick Silver pretty much has just dropped out of the running here. Unfortunately, bad night for him. Going to move Ryan Howard, Chad Coleman, Tyler, and Brian up. But obviously there's a tie between Tyler, Dalton, and Brian. Ryan right now, like I said, there's a 2-point difference between Ryan Howard and Chad Coleman. So Yeah, well, never mind what I'm saying. Coleman's going for the lead. I think he realizes that with Ryan Howard running third, if he was maybe fourth, and they made contact, if they made fourth, it would be a little bit different subject. White flag one more time. We're going to see if we can get it done. It's going to be close on Coleman's end, though. He don't win this thing. But Brian Macklin's going to come out of 4 and win it either way. What a finish.
Very close. Great
this
finish
is going
there
to be,
at the end.
awesome finish to this one to round it out. I'm interested to see who made the round of 6 because the points are going to be so tight right there. Obviously, you got to calculate in some bonus points, and Macklin, maximizing bonus points there. It's going to come down very close between Ryan Howard and Chad Coleman there, I think, on that final cutoff one because they were only 2 points difference between the two. And I don't know that Coleman has enough. I could be wrong. I don't know. Like I say, unofficial. But either way, Brian Macklin punches his ticket to the round of 6. He went from worst to best here. So absolutely awesome on his end. And guess what? Flag to flag.
Yeah, green flag all the way through. I was going to say, that's the most amazing thing. I can't remember the last time we did that here, but it was an awesome race here tonight. Not to say that these guys aren't good drivers, but it is tough to go green to checkered.
Storm, just real quick, how Castro got that lead was he pitted in 47, green flag pit stop, and he was able to get out there so far. But obviously, and to speak of Storm Castro, he did not. Well, he did make it. No. Said he pitted on lap 99. Well, says he finished 20th, so we're going to say he made it. Oh, what a race. What a race. That was awesome. That was awesome right there. Take it easy there, John. I appreciate it. Get everybody tuning in because it was a wild one out here. Let's bring up third place man Ryan Howard. Let's get a word with him.
Ryan, it's Jeff up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Well, that was a bit of a crazy race there towards the end. What was your mindset on those long green flag runs that just seemed to go on forever?
Honestly, I'm just glad I didn't get clipped by Parker there because that about killed us there. I saw him wrecking and I thought they had it gathered up, and then he kind of went out of my sight, and I just had an instinct that he was still wrecking. And the next thing I knew, he probably missed me by an inch and turned me back into the outside wall almost. So just that was crazy. The race, yeah, this track's all right. It's not much passing opportunity. The truck just gets too tight to really make anything work. You really have to try to suck up on the outside of someone and hope they get tight to make a pass on somebody. But good run. We tried to stay clean. We almost got taken out a couple times out of our doing, just trying to ride and make the next round, but we ended up with a podium, so I'll take it.
Absolutely. Do you have anyone you want to thank for that podium finish here tonight?
Yeah, I think you guys watched the race here. Just got to thank my teammates for always looking out for me, for being in the chase, and Kickass Beef Jerky for sponsoring, Sim500, all the guys that run it. Just good night. We're moving on to the next round.
Absolutely. You're going on to the next round. You had a great run here tonight. Congratulations on a third place finish, Ryan, after a long green to checkered race here. Great work out there from 13th to 3rd.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff. Have a good one, buddy.
You as well.
Like you just said, man, right there, coming up here to 3rd. It's going to be interesting, too, because he did punch his way in to the round of 6. So, if Chad Coleman was going to jump up here, but nonetheless, I'll bring up the leader up here and get a word with him real quick. Ryan Macklin, Joe, the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Well, you came from last to worst, coming out here, punching your way in the round of 6. Did you think you were going to be able to pull this thing off?
Well, I knew that winning was basically my only chance. I knew there was a path to getting in on points, but the majority of it was going to come by just going out here and trying to win the race. So I did everything I could all night long to keep myself in position to be where I was at the end of the race. And man, it was intense. And I can't tell you, this has been a struggle of a season for me. This has not been the season I wanted. So to get this win right here, when it looked like my playoff hopes and my championship hopes are going to be over, to get this win, it really boosts my confidence and gets me ready for the next round.
Well, obviously, like you just said, I mean, the best thing to do is always have the mentality win the end right there, like you was talking about. Because it would have been close if Coleman would have made it around. Again, with the difference, especially with Ryan Howard finishing in third like he did. I mean, it would have been different circumstances and whatnot. Might have found yourself outside, but coming in here, outside looking in after last week's disaster, but coming back here tonight, winning it all here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series at Las Vegas, punching your way in the round of 6, keeping your hopes alive for that championship. Anybody you want to thank for this awesome win?
I got to thank my teammates, all those guys. We worked together tonight with strategy and just, Trey kind of helped me with staying up there at the front at the end. And I just got to thank you guys for putting on this broadcast and all the admins and the sponsors that allow us to get in here and race every night. It's so much fun. And, I'm so thankful that I was able to pull this off tonight. I was really hoping I got eliminated from the Cup playoffs last week, and I was really hoping I could at least have a shot at the championship in this series. And like you said, with the disaster that happened last week, I pretty much was feeling like I was out of it, but we got lucky and we stole one here tonight. So I'm glad we were able to pull it off.
Hey, no doubt about it. Definitely fast truck up front all night long. Stayed out of trouble. It's awesome to see again. Congratulations on that win here tonight.
Thank you, guys. I will see you next week.
All right, there we go. I'll tell you what, like you just said, well, I don't see Ed Coleman didn't jump up here, but it's going to be interesting to hear if he made it in a round of 6. But nonetheless, Jeff, we're going to leave flag to flag, all green flag here tonight, and Brian Macklin heading off in a round of 6.
And boy, what a great race all around for all of these guys. Everyone seemed to keep it together. There was one close call earlier on involving Josh Parker and a few drivers darting back and forth here and there to make sure that they were going to try and advance into the next round. But all in all, a fantastic race. To go green to checkered here is no easy task. And for these guys, all 30 of them, to come out and make it happen, man, that's impressive. And what a fantastic race to the end. There are a lot of different strategies all playing out.
No doubt about it. We're going to leave here to Las Vegas. For myself and everyone here at Sim500 Kickass Beef Jerky, everyone, have a good night.